So in the aftermath of Israel's retaliation to Iran, where they seem to have basically wiped out, disarmed Iran's air defense missile system, which means that if Israel is to do a future attack, they're not going to be able to do anything at all to stop it. So certainly a very clever move by Israel. And in the aftermath, it seems that from reports, Iran is said to be, quote, alarmed, as the IDF has crippled its missile production and disabled key air defenses. I want to read to you the report of the Times of Israel that says Israel's widespread airstrikes in Iran on Saturday crippled Iran's ability to produce long-range ballistic missiles in a blow that will be hard and time-consuming to recover from, and rendered crucial energy facilities vulnerable to future attacks by destroying air defense batteries protecting them, according to multiple reports citing Israeli, American, and Iranian officials, as well as satellite images analysed by experts. The strikes, which Israel's Kan public broadcaster said reflected capabilities developed over 2 decades, indicated much greater freedom of operation for Israeli warplanes in striking Iran if the current conflict continues to escalate, as well as a setback in Tehran's ability to continuously fire missiles at the Jewish state, which Jerusalem apparently hopes will serve as a deterrent against further attacks on the Jewish state. That's why it's quite a clever move, because, of course, if Iran do retaliate, they now know that they're going to be even more vulnerable. This, by the way, is a picture taken yesterday. Let me just get it up for you. You can see over here, this is a picture of women walking past a billboard in Tehran, which says, it's also got in Hebrew as well, it says, Israel must be wiped off the map. This was taken on October the 26th. Obviously, God forbid such a thing should happen, and perhaps Iran should learn from all the other enemies of Israel and the Jewish people who have attempted to annihilate the Jewish people, and of course it is they themselves who were eliminated in the end. So the report continues that the strikes targeted sites that reportedly includes the secretive Parchin base near Tehran, which was used in the past for research and development of nuclear weapons, as well as a factory that manufactures drones. The attacks on the air defences caused, quote, deep alarm in Iran, the New York Times reported, citing 3 unnamed Iranian officials, one from the country's oil ministry, since it rendered defenceless Khuzestan's province's Abadan oil refinery, Bandar Imam Khomeini petrochemical complex, and an adjacent major port, as well as the Tanjbijar gas field in the Ilam province. In addition, the report said, citing the Iranian officials and 3 Israeli officials, the strikes disabled 3 Russian-made S-300 air defense systems at Tehran's Imam Khomeini International Airport and at the Malad missile base near the capital. This is in addition to a strike in April that took out an additional battery in the Isfahan province. Oh, well, I was actually unclear what was taken out in April, and now we know. And perhaps that first strike done in April was to show Iran, we can penetrate your borders and your military infrastructure. And it seems that Israel's ramping up each time. There are some commentators, by the way, that feel that Israel should be going much harder right now. It's absolutely unacceptable that they should have any missiles lobbed at Israel, let alone all this rhetoric coming from the Iranian government, which talks about wanting to annihilate Israel. And it's more than rhetoric, has been funding that for decades. Many say, cut off the head of the octopus. Do it now. Why are you waiting? Why are we just having this tit for tat? Many are scared about, well, too much escalation could be threatening for Israel. But my sense is you have to have escalation dominance. The only way to win ultimately is by standing up to a bully and saying we absolutely will do everything we need to do to protect our people and have zero tolerance. The only way you can really create peace is by letting the other side know there is zero tolerance. The targets of the strikes, the article continues, reportedly included the Falag, Shade, Gadiri and Abdul Fattah missile manufacturing bases of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, as well as the Parchin and Parand facilities. Iranian media reported that 4 soldiers were killed in the early Saturday strikes, noting that the toll could rise. Iran's Supreme National Security Council held emergency consultations Saturday on how to respond, which the Times reported, adding that no decision had been reached and that Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was expected to make public comments about Israel's strikes today on Sunday. Following the attack, Khamenei opened a new Hebrew language account on social media platform X, formerly Twitter. His first post read, "In the name of Allah, the merciful and compassionate." Now he's got one in Hebrew. Why are they so obsessed with us, honestly? The strikes hit at least 12 planetary mixers used to make solid fuel used in long-range ballistic missiles, reports said, with some putting the number of mixers struck at 20. The Saudi Elaf news site reported, citing an unnamed informed source, that the heavy fuel mixers had been used to power Khyber and Qassem missiles, ballistic missiles, that were launched at Israel in the Iranian strike early this month. The source claimed it would take 2 years to repair the factory, which was completely destroyed. It did not say where the factory was located. The Axios news cited Israeli sources and a US official as saying Iran can't produce the mixers on its own and must acquire them from China, which may take more than a year. The report also said that the development would limit Tehran's ability to supply ballistic missiles to its proxies, such as Lebanon's Hezbollah and Yemen's Houthi rebels, both terror groups. However, Iranian officials cited by the New York Times asserted that the damage to the Islamic Republic's missile production capabilities was, quote, minor and short-term. Iran has the Middle East's largest missile arsenal and supplied missiles to Russia for use against Ukraine and to the Houthis and Hezbollah, according to US officials. Tehran and Moscow deny that Russia has received Iranian missiles. Meanwhile, the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency confirmed in a post on X that Iran's nuclear facilities were not damaged during the overnight airstrikes. Quote, Iran's nuclear facilities have not been impacted. IAEA inspectors are safe and continue their vital work. I call for prudence and restraint from actions that could jeopardize the safety and security of nuclear and other radioactive materials, Rafael Mariano Grossi wrote. Commercial satellite imagery showed that the strikes hit buildings that Iran used for mixing solid fuel for ballistic missiles, according to separate assessments by 2 American researchers. The judgments were reached by David Albright, a former UN weapons inspector, who heads the Institute for Science and International Security Research Group, and Decker Everleth, an associate research analyst at CNA, a Washington think tank. They told Reuters separately that Israel struck Parchin, a massive military complex near Tehran. Israel also hit Kojir, according to Everleth, a sprawling missile production site near Tehran. Reuters reported in July that Kojir was undergoing massive expansion to boost missile production. Everleth said that Israeli strikes may have significantly hampered Iran's ability to mass-produce missiles. He said that an image from Planet Labs, a commercial satellite firm, showed that an Israeli strike destroyed 2 buildings in Kojir where solid fuel for ballistic missiles was mixed. Wow. The buildings were enclosed by high dirt berms, according to the image reviewed by Reuters. Such structures are associated with missile production and are designed to stop a blast in one building from detonating combustible materials in nearby structures. Planet Labs imagery of Parchin showed that Israel destroyed 3 ballistic missiles, solid fuel mixing buildings, and a warehouse, Everleth said. Albright said he reviewed low-resolution commercial satellite imagery of Parchin that appeared to show that an Israeli strike damaged 3 buildings, including 2 in which solid fuel for ballistic missiles was mixed. He did not identify the commercial firm from which he obtained the images. The buildings, he said, are located about 320 meters from a facility once involved in what the UN nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and US intelligence claim was a comprehensive nuclear weapons development program that Iran shuttered in 2003. Iran denies having such a program, while Jerusalem says it has never fully abandoned it, pointing to a current uranium enrichment levels that have no civilian use. Israel says they targeted buildings housing solid fuel mixers. Everleth said, these industrial mixers are hard to make and export controlled. Iran imported many over the years at great expense and will likely have a hard time replacing them. With a limited operation, he said, Israel may have struck a significant blow against Iran's ability to mass-produce missiles and made it more difficult for any future Iranian missile attack to pierce Israel's missile defenses. Quote, the strikes appear to be highly accurate, he said. What has the IDF said? The IDF said it precisely targeted strategic military sites, specifically drone and ballistic missile manufacturing and launch sites, as well as air defense batteries. The strikes were carried out in multiple waves over the course of several hours in various areas of Iran, with the Islamic Republic closing its airspace for the duration and seemingly showing little ability to counter the assault. Strikes were reported in Tehran, Karaj, Isfahan, and Shiraz areas. The first wave of attacks apparently targeted Iran's air defense capabilities, both to ensure the IDF's freedom of operations during Saturday's sorties and to lay the ground for further strikes should Iran retaliate. As the campaign was underway, Syrian state media reported that Israel struck several military sites in the south and centre of the country, action possibly taken to enable the IAF to operate more freely in Iran. That's the Israeli Air Force. The next waves hit the drone and ballistic missile manufacturing sites, including those used in direct Iranian attacks on Israel on April 14th and October 1st, as well as sites used to launch such weapons. On Saturday evening, the IDF released audio of the radio communications between the chief of the Israeli Air Force, Major General Tomer Bar, and the commander of the 201st Squadron during the strikes. The historic action you performed tonight proved that no enemy is too far away, Bar told Lieutenant Colonel Shin, the commander of the F-16 fighter jet squadron. And I've got to show you this incredible footage of the IDF fighters going into F-15 fighter jets heading out to carry out the strikes on Iran. Have a watch of this. Just amazing. Israel has shown immense intelligence capability and military capability. And to be honest, I'm sure they could do a lot more and go a lot harder. They're making calculations of game theory, basically, to protect themselves, but also create deterrence. But as I say, there are some people that are saying they'd want to see Israel just going full throttle, trying to wipe out the Iranian regime, which is basically the source of all these problems that we're seeing, because of course Iran funds the Houthis, they fund Hamas and Hezbollah. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Huge amount of information there. It's been a big week for Israel. This whole year has been completely remarkable and historic, the way that this war has unfolded and expanded. But Israel, in the aftermath of the worst tragedy to befall the Jewish people since the Holocaust, has shown the most immense abilities to fight back, whether it's getting the head of Hamas in Tehran. In Tehran, they got him as a precise, accurate attack. Managed to penetrate Iran's governmental borders and security to do that. Whether it's the Pages attack in Lebanon, where people thought going to war against Hezbollah is going to be deeply, deeply bloody on both sides, and of course we don't know what the future holds, but they've so far massively degraded Hezbollah with very, very limited non-combatant casualties. So Israel has shown incredible fortitude and brilliance so far, and all I can say is Chazak ve'amatz. If you've made it so far in this video, I have a request for you. JTV has been having a really big impact in spreading the truth about Israel and creating positive associations with the Jewish people, Judaism, and Israel. We've really grown a lot, particularly in the last year, and we're having a really significant impact, both for Jews and non-Jews. But I really want to take JTV to the next level so we can start to compete with the other big online media beasts that are often peddling anti-Israel content. And the way we're going to do that is to scale even faster. So I'd love to build a team where we have other presenters doing shows like me. Let's start doing documentaries, supplementary content, animated content, etc., etc. And to do that, I'd like to build a bit of a team. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one fundraising day, just one, where we try and build up some funding in order to fund such a team. Now, to do that, it's going to obviously require people to get involved. And I'm wondering if you would consider, if you're watching JTV content and appreciate what we do and want to help partner with us in taking this to the next level and spreading the truth farther and wider than ever before, I wonder if you'd consider partnering with us simply by running a mini page on the fundraiser that we do, where you just reach out to your contacts on that day that we choose to fundraise and see if they'll all chip in. If you'd be up for doing that, of which I would be so grateful, then please click on the Google form link in the video description of this video, where you can simply just put in a few contact details. It'll be a very small commitment, as I say, literally just one day that we'll all agree upon as a collective community. But the impact is going to be so big. There's such strength in numbers. If we all pull together and do this, we can take this to the next level. And as I say, all of us can partner together in bringing and spreading the truth to the whole world. So please do consider clicking on that link, filling in the form, and I'll be in touch very soon to talk about the next steps. Small commitment, but a big impact. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.